Your calendar is full, and the work you're actually paid to do isn't getting done. That's not a discipline problem. It's a structural one. It has a name, a mechanism, and a single question that exposes it. Most senior leaders are living inside it right now and can't see it. It's called the time bleed. By the end of this, you'll know the exact moment your calendar stopped being yours, why every productivity system you've ever tried quietly made it worse, and the single question that cuts through all of it. This isn't time management, it's a diagnosis. Start with a number. A director at a logistics firm, 14 months into the role, opens her calendar on a Sunday night. 26 meetings across 5 days. She scrolls, some she recognizes instantly. Her one-on-one meetings, the operating review. Others make her stop, a cross-functional sync she was added to by someone she barely knows. An alignment call carried over from 3 months ago, rescheduled twice, never once examined. Then, she looks for her own work, the analysis she's been trying to get back to for 11 days, the hard conversation she owes her engineering lead. It isn't there. The week was finished before she'd made a single decision about it. When she finally counted, out of 26 weekly commitments, she could name 4 she had actually chosen. 4 out of 26. Before you keep watching, do the same thing. Open your own calendar for next week and count. Out of every recurring block, how many did you actually choose? Put the number in the comments. I'll wait. Because that number is the whole problem. What she lost has a name. Calendar sovereignty. A calendar that still reflects its owner's priorities. Not a calendar with no obligations. Every leader carries those. It means you've made an active, recent decision about every recurring thing on it. That if someone asked you to justify any block, you could, without reaching back to a reason you haven't examined in months. And here's the uncomfortable part. It's binary. Your calendar either reflects your current priorities or it doesn't. There is no mostly. Most senior leaders, asked honestly, cannot account for the full shape of their own week. So how does it happen? Not in a decision. Nobody wakes up and hands their calendar to other people. It happens across dozens of small, reasonable agreements. The standing sync a key partner asked for. Reasonable. The quarterly review the CFO's office added you to. Reasonable. The steering committee that needed someone at your level. Reasonable. Each one, on its own, legitimate, and each one sets up a recurring commitment that takes a deliberate act to remove, and no decision at all to keep. That's the trap. An asymmetry. Saying yes costs one small word. Removing something costs a visible act. You have to tell someone the meeting is ending, manage the reaction, absorb the social cost. So the path of least resistance is always accumulation. The calendar fills on its own. It never sheds on its own. Hold on to that asymmetry. In a minute, it's going to explain something stranger. Why the most disciplined person in the building loses their calendar too, and why the fix isn't more discipline. It's a different category entirely. But first, here's where almost everyone goes wrong, including the most disciplined people in the building. They ask, how do I get more done in the time I have? That question accepts the calendar as fixed and tries to squeeze more output per hour. It produces systems, scheduling hacks, a new app, and every one of them adds one more commitment to an already full structure. The system becomes another layer of the bleed. That's the diligence trap. And underneath it, something quieter happens. Competence gets redefined to fit what the calendar allows. Responsiveness starts standing in for responsibility. Availability starts standing in for judgment. And because the organization rewards the fast reply, you get praised for the exact behavior that's draining you. Which is why discipline can't save you here. You had to see why the obvious fixes fail first, because the real fix is a completely different category. There's a point I call the discipline ceiling, the limit of what personal productivity can fix. Discipline works when the problem is you, your habits, your focus. The discipline ceiling is the exact point where that stops being true. because the time bleed doesn't live in your character. It lives in the architecture of the role. And when the problem is structural, discipline is the wrong category of solution. You can be the most disciplined leader in the company and still lose your calendar, because you're applying a personal fix to a structural condition. So here's the question that actually opens the door. Not, how do I get more done? The right question is, when did this calendar stop being mine? That one treats the calendar as changeable, and the problem is structural. And it comes with a test you can run today, on any block on your week. Would I schedule this now if it didn't already exist? If the honest answer is no, that's not a meeting. That's a bleed. Run that test across the whole calendar, and you've done what we call a bleed audit. The leaders who keep their calendars aren't the ones who never say yes. They're the ones who treat removal as a regular practice instead of a crisis, who ask that one question on a cadence. Everyone else ends up, eventually, with a week designed entirely by other people. The calendar is telling you the truth. Most leaders just never learned the language to hear it. And the time bleed is only one of 5 ways this happens. 5 structural drains we call the bleeds. If you want to know which one is costing you the most right now, there's a free 3-minute diagnostic, the containment check, in the description. It won't sell you anything. It just shows you your own architecture. The next one takes apart the decision bleed. If you'd rather catch each one as it goes up than go hunting for it later, that's what subscribing is for. I'll see you in the next one.